While the physical bombings of the recent conflict have paused, a new, quieter conflict is taking shape in the water. This is a map of the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the entire world's energy supply passes through this narrow stretch of water. Following the attacks on February 28th, the Iranian military began targeting passing commercial ships. The attacks effectively shut down one of the planet's busiest maritime corridors. Now, Iran has issued an ultimatum to the shipping companies. To guarantee safe passage, ships must pay a toll. The price is exactly $1 for every barrel of oil they carry. And this toll cannot be paid through traditional banking channels. Iran is demanding payment strictly in cryptocurrency, a method deliberately chosen to sidestep Western financial sanctions. Right now, massive crude carriers are either stuck at port, waiting out at sea, or taking calculated risks to run the strait. The global economy is suddenly trapped behind a paywall. But the government enforcing this blockade insists they are simply following international law. Iran's primary diplomatic defense is straightforward. They claim they are operating exactly like any other sovereign nation that controls a major transit route. They point to Egypt. Every day, the Egyptian government collects hefty transit fees from ships moving through the Suez Canal. They point to Panama, noting the exact same practice is standard operating procedure at the Panama Canal. The argument poses a direct question. If Egypt and Panama can legally tax the cargo moving through their waters, why is it a violation of international norms when Iran decides to do it? On the surface, the logic holds up. This makes it incredibly difficult for Western diplomats to dismiss the demand outright without appearing hypocritical. The answer to that question lies within international maritime law. The law distinguishes based on how a waterway was formed. The Suez and Panama canals are man-made, requiring continuous maintenance, so international law allows charging for access. The Strait of Hormuz is different. It's a natural geographic formation, entirely changing its legal status. Under maritime law, countries cannot charge a transit tax simply for sailing through naturally occurring straits. They can only bill companies for specific requested services, like physical towing or local harbor piloting. Prior to the attacks in late February, the Iranian government actually followed this exact rule, treating the strait as a free transit zone. To lend legitimacy to the new toll, Tehran recently drafted a protocol to split the revenue with Oman, the country on the opposite side of the strait. Oman immediately rejected the proposal. By demanding payment, Iran is attempting to unilaterally rewrite the established rules of the ocean, using a natural choke point to exert control over international commerce. This move has triggered alarm across the Persian Gulf, particularly in neighboring nations like the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. These nations fear a precedent where their primary trade route is no longer a shared natural resource, but a permanent, high-stakes tool for leverage. The U.S. has pushed back. Former President Donald Trump demanded that any peace agreement must legally guarantee the uninterrupted flow of oil through the region. The crisis has now shifted the diplomatic focus to Islamabad, Pakistan, the staging ground for high-stakes peace talks between the U.S. and Iran. The host city is now under total lockdown. With schools and offices closed and police stationed at every intersection, the capital has been cordoned off as a militarized red zone. A single $1 toll has completely paralyzed diplomatic progress, pulling multiple nuclear-armed nations toward the brink of a much wider conflict. An enormous, highly advanced naval presence now sits in the water, largely powerless to break what is essentially a legal and geographic blockade. Actually deploying that military force to forcefully clear the strait would risk igniting a massive, devastating regional war. The initial attempts to force a change in leadership through military strikes have backfired. Iran has demonstrated that a strategic grip on natural geography can outmaneuver conventional military power.